Attention in the pits, attention in the pits. Restrictors to staging for hot laps. Restrictors to staging for hot laps.
Welcome, race fans, back to the oldest micro sprint track in the United States, Coles County Speedway, located right here in Mattoon, Illinois. I'm Casey Bench, joined alongside Kevin tonight once again as we return from a one-week break with special treat tonight as the Mod Lights will be hitting this historic racing service for the first time this year. Now, it isn't the first time that some of these cars have hit the racetrack here, as they did show up to a practice back in April, but this will be the first time that they will go out there and race each other out here at the historic Coles County Speedway. Hot laps are about to begin with the strong over restricted class. Or excuse me, the Patriot Landscaping restricted micro class. And here they come out onto the racetrack for the first time tonight. Leading them out is going to be that 55J of Cameron Jacobs from Chatham, Illinois. Right by him is going to be the 1K of Mackenzie Dowler from Springfield, Illinois. Also out there is points leader Tanner Triplin at 22 from Lincoln, Illinois. As field comes around to the green, also out there on the racetrack is going to be the 8C, or excuse me, the 9C of Chase Button from Morton, Illinois. And it looks like the last car's out there going to be the 12 of Bello Coleman from Farmington, Missouri, as the field comes down to green on the first hot laps of the night. And it looks like we're going to have one car around over in turn 1. That will be the 9C of Chase Button. Coming to a stop in the middle of turns 1 and 2.
And what a beautiful night it is for racing here at Coles County Speedway. A little warm, but we'll take it.
Absolutely, just walking around there in the pit area with definitely hot. It's definitely a hot one today. As the airport's reporting about 85 degrees right now with low winds. And the green flag is going to be back in the air for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro first hot lap session. Going to have 10 entries out of this class tonight, so 2 sessions to hot lap for this class tonight.
White flag in the air. This will be our last time around in this session.
Looks like already he's seeing a lot of people experimenting with their lines, especially that 9C of Chase Button, who had gone around earlier, went to the top of the racetrack. And back down to the bottom as he's going to come back around to the checkered flag.
Well, I tell you what, the track looks absolutely fantastic tonight. Looks like there's a lot of speed out there and a lot of different lanes these cars can run.
Absolutely. Track crew doing the fantastic job as they always do here at Coles County Speedway. Like track workers are looking over a spot down there on the racetrack before they send out the second group of the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros, and out onto the track they come. Entering the track over in turn 4 is going to be the 71N of Lydia May from Terre Haute, Indiana. Right behind her is the 10M of Mackenzie Meany, also from Terre Haute, Indiana. Also out there joining them is going to be Niles Tudor from Harrisburg, Illinois. Along with the 29, Elaine Surratt from Findlay, Tennessee. Along with the 17, Nicole Jones from Streeter, Illinois, is going to round out the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Microfield as they come to the green on the second hot lap session. All 5 cars out of this group looking like they're staying right around the bottom of the racetrack. Nobody really experimenting so far. Everybody's seeing what they have down on the bottom of the racetrack. Especially that number 29 car of Surratt. That car looks really good, being tucked up right behind that number 14, Niles Tudor. Tudor's going to start experimenting with that middle line as they come across to the checkered. So that will conclude the hot laps for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros, which will make, as they make their way off the racetrack, it'll be the A-Class non-wings up next for their hot laps. 9 entries out of this class tonight. If you want to. If you want to.
Do I have time? Nope. Because here comes Danny Bassino.
And rolling out onto the racetrack is going to be the A-Class non-wings for their hot laps. Leading them out is going to be the 51B, a Parker Buck from Greenfield, Indiana. Also joining him out there is going to be the 11R Harrison Robards from Darding Prairie, Missouri, along with Danny Vicino in the 21V from Terre Haute, Indiana. Also out there is, I believe that'd be the 24. Not showing on our entry list for some reason. That might be Weston Burner in that 24 machine. It's usually J.B. Gilbert's car. Also out there is the 14B of Bodie Bridgman from Farmington, Missouri. Along with the 12 of Dawson Wright, just made his way out onto the racetrack. As Fields coming around to the green. Fields taking their time, giving themselves a little bit of room as they make their way back to the green flag. Nolan Bartley also out there in the 14, along with 16C of Sam Kuhlman. So it's like all 9 A-Class non-wings are out on the racetrack as they come around to the white flag on the hot lap session. These guys looking like they're really diving it in there down to turns 1 and 2, taking their time over turns 3 and 4. Vicino getting that left front up into the air as he comes across to the checkered flag. That Vicino car might have a little bit more left in it as he was coming under pressure from behind that 12 of Dawson Wright.
Coles County Speedway would like to recognize its sponsors: Tomahawk Roofing Contractors, Fuqua Tree Service, HRC Henning Racing Components, Victory Fuel, Kimstring Race Fuels, RS12 Motorsports, Spartan Transportation, High Caliber Graphics, Dirt 2 Media, the WFO Series, King Chassis, Hyper Racing, K1 Race Gear, Vision 1 Composites, Patriot Landscaping, Strong Bookkeeping, Napa, Mattoon, Neoga, and Effingham, Duncan Windows, Cole Lumber, Burrow Max, and Strong Elevator.
And also would like to give a quick shout out to the brand new WFO TV service. You can download their apps on Roku, or you can find them on YouTube tonight.
And SRL Media and Design, who take all the pictures that you see on Facebook here of Coles County Speedway.
And out onto the racetrack come the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints. Leading them out is going to be the 32E of Easton Hayes from Farmington, Missouri. Behind him is going to be, looks like the J16 of Jasper Hellman. As the rest of the juniors making their way out on the racetrack, also out there is going to be the D52 of Joe Bonowitz from Oakland, Illinois. Along with the 17 of Will Coleman from Farmington, Missouri. Also out there is going to be the 40C of Cohen Coleman from Farmington, Missouri, along with the 22 of Evan France from Lovington, Illinois, as the field comes to green. And the last car out there is going to be the 10 of Madison Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana, the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Field.
Yeah, it looks like Jasper Hellman's got some new decals on that car this week. It's looking sharp.
Along with a few other cars looking like they have some new decals along that number 17 car. Looks like they had a little bit of a decal change there as well. Both those cars looking really good as they come around to the checkered flag. So as the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints makes their way off to the racetrack, that'll make way for the King Chassis D2 Midgets. Only a pair of them this week.
32 will be your last car. 32.
We put them on a long rest this week. It's supposed to be over. There you go.
First car out for the D2, for the King Chassis D2 Midget is going to be Jacob Boxwell from Zanesville, Indiana in the 44 JB. And also joining him out there is going to be Brandon Smith in the 11 from Mason City, Illinois.
And this will take just a couple more minutes longer than normal because these cars do have to be push started.
So track workers will get that number 44 JB of Jacob Boxwell fired, and then they'll send them green on their hot laps. And that 44 JB of Jacob Boxwell will be able to get fired, and he'll be able to take his hot laps tonight.
Get on the receiver and tell him to let me know when he has heat in that motor.
So we're going to give him a few laps to get some engine heat in those cars before they send them green. This is a new class to Coles County Speedway this year, these D2 midgets. Without a doubt, though, these midgets always put on a good show here at this old racetrack. Had quite a few good shows, including the Extreme Series, along with the Badger midgets, who are coming back here later this year. Our flagman John's going to be looking for the thumbs up from Jacob Boxwell this time by to see if he's got enough engine heat in that car. Like he said no as he came around that time, so if we'll give him a couple more laps and see if he'll thinks he's got enough in it. And Jacob Boxwell saying that he's all good, and we're sending the D2 midgets green on their hot laps. Jacob Boxwell coming around and collecting the green on the King Chassis D2 midget hot lap session, along with Brandon Smith in the 11 from Mason City, Illinois, as they come back around to the white flag. About half a lap between the two drivers as they make their way back around the racetrack one final time. Eyeside's not there just yet for Brandon Smith. Tried it out up there in 3 and 4. Looks like he lost quite a lot of ground as the checkered flag's in the air for that number 44 JB of Jacob Boxwell. And Brandon Smith coming across the line to collect the checkered flag on the King Chassis D2 midget hot laps. So they're going to make their way off the racetrack, which will allow the Strong Limiter A-Class wings to make their way out onto the racetrack. 11 entries out of that class tonight. So we're going to have 2 groups of hot laps for the Strong Limiter A-Class wings. Leading them out, it's going to be the 6, Clayton Apple from Oakland, Illinois. Right behind him, the 97D, Larry Drake from Terre Haute, Indiana. Also out there, the 4R, Crew Stanfield from Brownsburg, Indiana. Also joining them out there, Noah Mel from Farland, Indiana, and the 95M as the field comes around to green. Last car out there is going to be the 14B of Brody Bridgman from Farmington, Missouri, as the entire field comes down to the green flag of the Strong Motor A-Class Wing Hot Laps. Seen a few guys starting to experiment already with the middle groove, one of those being Cruz Stanfield. Looks like that's just not there so far. Gonna have to see how that line develops throughout the rest of the night, as Noah Mel was easily able to make the pass on the very bottom of the racetrack around Cruz.
Corey's going to try next week. He says he's having it for 12 grand. He says he can go to 17 grand. I said, just tell me, you know what you're doing, where do you want me to stay out of your way? And I'll just stay the hell out of everybody's way. I said, they'll be good to you. They'll explain it all to you.
So first group for the Strong Motor A-Class Wings done with their hot laps. Second group making their way out on the racing surface right now. As leading them out, it's going to be the 51B of Parker Bupp from Greenfield, Indiana. Second car out is going to be the 25B of Chevy Boyer from New Haven, Missouri. Also joining them out there, the 87 of Colin Shane from Sullivan, Illinois. Along with Harrison Robards in the 11R from Dardine Prairie, Missouri. And the final car out there is going to be Lane Surratt from Findlay, Tennessee in the 29 as the second group of the Strong Motor A-Class Wings come around to green on hot laps.
It's a strong group of cars out here. Every single one of them is capable of winning at any time here at Coles County Speedway. They've all run very well here.
Absolutely, but the lap time's not there for anybody just yet. Everybody outside the top three out of this group. As they come around to the checkered flag, seeing if Parker Bupp can improve. No, he cannot, as it will be Colin Shane just barely getting into the top three on lap times for the Strong Motor A-Class Wing Hot Laps. The only car out of this group inside the top three. So that will conclude the hot laps for the Strong Motor A-Class Wings as they make their way off the racetrack. It will be, for the first time, the Mod Lights going to be out on the racing surface for their hot laps.
We have a total of 14 entries for the Mod Lights this week. They will be running 2 heat races once we get those going.
And they're making their way out onto the racing surface. Leading them out is going to be the 18G of Robert Gonzalez from Kelowna, Illinois. Second car out there is going to be the 16C of Sam Coleman from Farmington, Missouri. Third car out is going to be Michael Mann from Colchester, Illinois in the 24. Fourth car out is going to be the 16P of Mike Pershing from Colchester, Illinois as well, as they're going to come around to green on their first hot lap session. Also out there is going to be the 8 of Dylan Nager from Festus, Missouri. Also out there is the 07 being shown as 7 on our scoring monitors as Matt Filkins from West Frankfort, Illinois. As once again, first time these drivers seeing this racetrack, as they are really trying to figure out where they want to run. As last car out there going to be Barry Evans from Anna, Illinois in that number 9. So the field's going to come around to the checkered flag on their hot lap session. As one car going up into the wall off turn number 4. To conclude the first group of the hot lap sessions, that's the 24, Michael Mann.
There'll be one more group of Mod Lights to come out for their hot laps, and then we'll get right into the opening ceremonies and the heat races.
Looks like a little bit of bodywork damage on the left rear of the Michael Mann car as he made his way off the racetrack. And with that, the second group of Mod Lights making their way out on the racetrack for their hot laps. Leading them out is going to be the 16C of Sam Coleman from Farmington, Missouri. So, excuse me, a few cars, had two 16 cars out of the last group, only showing 2 on our scoring monitors. Second car out there is going to be the 99 of Josh Hutchinson from Freeman Spur, Illinois. Also out there, the 32C of Christopher Hayes from Farmington, Missouri. Also out there, the 171 of Brandon Freeberg from Metamora, Illinois. Also out there, the 75 of Jay Parks from Marion, Illinois, along with the 17 of Jimmy Arthur from Mitchville, Indiana. And the last car out there is going to be the 27 of Rocky Meyer from McCoyne, Illinois. Looks like he's going to need a little bit of help getting push started over in turn number 1. As it sounds like Tower's working over a transponder issue with one of the 16 cars, as we did have 2 16 cars come out in that last session and one coming out in this session, one not showing up on our monitors. That might have been Blake Gonzales in the 163G from Kelowna, Illinois.
Yeah, I don't see it on their monitor.
Track workers still working on getting the number 27 of Rocky Mayer fired as they enter turn number 3. Track workers giving that number 27 every opportunity it can to get Ray fired. And it looks like he will be able to get that number 27 of Rocky Meyer fired. And he will join the second and final group of hot laps for the Mod Lights tonight. And it sounds like from our flagman, John's going to give him a few laps and make sure that 27 of Rocky Mayer, make sure that car will be able to run up to speed. So, caution lights extinguished, green flags in the air for the second and final group of the Mod Light Hot Laps. Going to see where this group decides to go as the 27.
We got one turned over on its side, and now he's over in the turn 4.
That's one of the 16 cars. That's Sam Coleman in the 16C going over in turn 3.
Looks like he started to turn a little bit there and then got hit by the 17 that was turned him over.
Unfortunate situation there for Jimmy Arthur. Nowhere to go on that number 17 machine and ends up turning Sam Coleman over.
This the order? Does me no good.
So track workers able to get that number 16 of Sam Coleman flipped back onto all 4 wheels.
We're in 6 classes.
Looks like track workers looking at the right front of that number 16C, seeing if that is okay, and he'll be able to continue on in the hot laps. as Jimmy Arthur is able to get away and pull back alongside on the front stretch. So track workers trying to get the Sam Coleman car in a better position, and that's not something you're wanting to see if you're the driver of the 16C. Looks like that car might be headed up on the hook and headed back to the pit area.
Yeah, it looks like he's all right. It's just a matter of getting the car off the track at this moment.
So tough break for the 16C of Sam Coleman, as that will end his hot laps as he's headed back towards the pit area.
Hopefully they can take that back to the pits, get that car worked on, and get it out here for the heat races.
And it looks like they're also bringing out a push truck to get the number 27 of Rocky Mayer refired. So caution lights back out. And the field's going to start making their way back around for their hot lap session. And that 27 able to get refired pretty quickly this time. And just like that, caution lights extinguished. We're headed back green on the second hot lap session for the Mod Lights. Green flags waving for the 171. Brennan Freeberg as the field comes back around. Looking like they're going to be looking for the white flag this time. As this group, unlike the first group, staying right around the bottom of the racetrack. The first group of Mod Lights were up at about the top of the racetrack, as the second group looking like they're staying right around the bottom, unsure which lap time is going to be good so far as they come around to the checkered flag. So with that, that will conclude the hot laps for the Mod Lights, and that will conclude the hot laps for tonight here at Coles County Speedway.
All right, we're going to run 4 laps of a box cart out here, and then the hot laps will be completed. Not sure who this is, but they want to come out here and run a few laps, see how their car was. He's building speed.
It looks backwards on the back stretch. You got me turned down?
Yeah.
Watch him on the back stretch. His car looks backwards.
These carts have run a couple times here at Coles County Speedway. They run as the LO206 class. They run in 2 classes, in the intermediate class, which is ages 8 through 14, and the beginner class, which is up to 8 years old.
I believe he's running a 4-horse Tecumseh side.
So the box cart will come across to the checkered flag, and that will conclude the hot laps tonight here at Coles County Speedway. Heat races coming up shortly with the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros.
And folks, don't forget tonight is dollar hot dog night at our concession stand, so cheap way to fill your bellies up. All right, we're just about ready to get our heat races underway, but at this time, we ask that you please rise if you can and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
At the twilight
Thank you. And now it's time to go racing at Coles County Speedway. Starting off our heat races tonight will be our Patriot Landscape Restricted Micros. We have 10 entries. There will be 2 heat races. Your starting lineup for heat race number 1 will be starting first from Streeter, Illinois, number 17, Cole Jones. Starting second from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 71M, Lydia May. Starting third from Farmington, Missouri, number 12, Bella Coleman. Starting fourth from Morton, Illinois, number 9C, Chase Bunton. And starting fifth from Chatham, Illinois, number 55J, Cameron Jacobs. Again, this is the Patriot Landscape Restricted Micro Heat Race number 1.
So when they make their way out of the racetrack, they'll be looking for the 1-to-go signal from our flagman, John Shipman.
And here they come out onto the track, your Patriot Landscape Restricted Micros for heat race number 1. Once again, as Casey said, they'll be looking for the 1-to-go signal, so next time around, they should go green.
We're going to see if they can get themselves organized enough as they exit turn number 2. And restart's going to be waved off, as field wasn't quite as organized as they would have liked it. So they're going to send them back around one more time.
John's going to give them the 1-to-go signal here. Now they've got them in the right places, and they are together. So they'll have 1 to go before green.
So caution lights extinguished for the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race as they make their way off of turn number 2. The front row, once again, Cole Jones and Lydia May as they approach the start cone over in turn number 4. Hey, and the green flag's in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Heat Race number 1. Some dirt going flying. Coleman, it's really sideways over there, but she's able to keep it going in the right direction. We're going to stay green, it looks like.
That was a wheel stand to the lead.
It looks like maybe something amiss on the 12C. Bella Coleman slowing to a stop over in turns 1 and 2. She's trying to keep that car going in the right direction. Trying to get some speed back in that car as Cameron Jacobs and the 55J pulls down to the infield with also an issue. And now that 12C, Bella Coleman, able to get that car back up to speed after the lap 1, turn 1 incident. But for now, it's that 71M of Lydia May pulling away from the 17 of Jimmy Arthur and Chase Bunton behind them. Or excuse me, Cole Jones in that number 17. Lydia May about 0.2 of a second a lap faster than second place Cole Jones. As the battle for third starting to heat up now as Bella Coleman able to get some speed back into her car as she's now on the back bumper in the 9C at Chase Button. See if Button's going to go to the fence, staying right around the bottom of this racetrack. Coleman really wants the bottom, but she can't quite get down there. Back to the middle of the racetrack over turns 3 and 4. She's able to be alongside down the front stretch. She's going to take that third spot away. Going down to turn 1 off of turn 2. She's clear for third. Still out in front though, Lydia May still putting down really good lap times over the 17 of Cole Jones as she's coming around to the white flag. Now Cole Jones falling even further back, over 2.5 seconds behind race leader Lydia May as she makes her way through turns 3 and 4. It's that 71 in, and Lydia May wins the first heat race of the night here for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros. Cole Jones is going to finish in second, Bella Coleman third, Chase Button fourth, and it will be the 55J of Cameron Jacobs, the only non-finisher out of the first Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro heat race.
And your starting lineup for your Patriot Landscape Restricted Micro Heat Race number 2. Starting first from Findlay, Tennessee, number 29, Lane Surratt. Starting second, Frost Tudor. Starting fourth from Springfield, Illinois, number 1K, Mackenzie Dowler. And starting fifth from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 10M, Mackenzie Meany. This is your Patriot Landscape Restricted Micros Heat Race number 2 as they get the 1-to-go signal from our flagman, John Shipman.
As caution lights extinguish for the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros, something to talk about, though, is the points battle that's starting to brew here out of this class so far throughout the year. Tanner Triplett leading the points by 155 over Braxton Flatt, who's not here tonight, and Niles Tudor 277 points back. Also in this heat race as well, as they're looking for the green off turn number 4. And right away, a couple guys trying to make moves already, including that 22 of Tanner Triplett looking to take that lead from Lane Surratt as they make their way back off turns 3 and 4. Field single file as they come off of turn number 4. That 14, though, of Niles Tudor started third, dropped all the way back to the tail end of the field as he'll get past by Mackenzie Meany, who's moving her way up through the field. And she's going to start working on that 1K of Mackenzie Dowler for the third spot. Still, though, out in front, putting down really good lap times is that 29 of Lane Surratt, about 0.2 of a second faster than the rest of the field. Tanner Triplett, though, going to look to extend his points lead tonight over the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro field. As the battle for third is starting to brew now between Mackenzie Dowler and Mackenzie Meany. Meany really closing up to the back end of the 1K of Dowler. Meany's looking to be there as the field's coming around to the white flag. Lane Surratt takes the white flag. As that battle for third still going on between Meany and Dowler. It's going to be that 10M of Meany. One more shot over in turns 3 and 4. Checkered flags in the air, though, for Lane Surratt, taking the second Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Heat Race. The second place finisher will be that 22 of Tanner Triplett. Mackenzie Dowler just able to hold on over Mackenzie Meany by less than 1/10 of a second. And the fifth place finisher being Niles Tudor.
And that will conclude the heat races for the Patriot Landscape Restricted Micros. Up next will be our A-Class non-wing division with 9 entries. We'll have 1 heat race. And the starting lineup for that heat race will be, starting first from Greenfield, Indiana, number 51B, Parker Bupp. Starting second from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 12, Dawson Wright. Starting third from Farmington, Missouri, number 14B, Brody Bridgman. Starting fourth from Hammond, Illinois, number 7F, Nolan Bartley. Starting fifth from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 24, Weston Berner. Starting sixth from Farmington, Missouri, number 16C, Sam Coleman. Starting seventh from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 21V, Danny Vicino. Starting eighth from Dardine Prairie, Missouri, number 7R, Harrison Robarbs. And starting ninth from New Haven, Missouri, number 25B, Chevy Boyer. This is your A-Class non-wing heat race.
First time this class has run this year. Here at Coles County Speedway, we've run this class before in years past, but not this year so far. This will be the first time A-Class non-wings will be on the racetrack for a race this year. And don't forget, for later tonight, keep your admission tickets as we're drawing for a t-shirt and some free snacks later on tonight in intermission. So hang on to your admission tickets that you got when you came in to the racetrack tonight. And with that, the A-Class non-wing heat race making their way out on the racetrack. Looks like they're going to give them one lap to go around. They're not going to give them the one to go this time. They'll give them the one to go next time around as these 9 cars are making their way out onto the racetrack. So the field's going to be coming through turns 3 and 4, looking for the one to go signal as they get organized off of turn number 4. Looks like they're not going to get it this time by. So the field's going to come together as they come around this time to the one to go signal. So we're headed green next time by on the A-Class non-wing heat race. And with that, the caution lights will extinguish for the A-Class non-wings as they make their way through turns 1 and 2 for the final time before we send them green for the first time this year in a heat race. So again, the front row, Parker Bupp and Dawson Wright are going to be leading the field to the start cone over in turn number 4. Green flags in the air on the A-Class non-wing heat race. Field's going to fan out further back. Couple of cars making a little bit of contact. Harrison Robards getting up on the berm over in turn number 2. No harm, no foul. That number 11 R car. Top 5 under a blanket as everybody's trying to make their way forward. That 24 Weston Burner looking to try to make a move on the outside here in turns 3 and 4 as he's behind that number 14B of Brody Bridgman. Now he himself coming in under pressure from behind that 25B is Chevy Boyer making his way forward to start in last. He's up to the 5th place spot. Look out, drivers, that number 25B of Chevy Boyer. He's fast once again as he is turning incredibly quick lap times within a 10th of race leader Parker Bupp out in front of the field in clean air. As he's right behind that number 12 of Dawson Wright once again for the 4th spot. He's really trying to make his way forward. Almost gets tapped in the rear from behind. That from the Weston Burner. Battle for second still going on between Nolan Bartley and Brody Bridgman as they make their way back through turns 3 and 4. Almost trouble for that number 14B car. Looks like caught on the berm. Brody Bridgman able to keep that car headed in the right direction. We stay green. Chevy Boyer finds his way up to 4th now as he's able to get past that 12-ish Dawson Wright. Weston Burner starting to work on Wright as well as they come through back through turns 1 and 2. Still, though, that 51B, Parker Bupp out in front with 2 to go on the A-Class non-wing heat race. And if they're going to finish just like this, Chevy Boyer is going to be on the pole later tonight in the feature. White flags in the air, though, for Parker Bupp. One more time around for that number 51B car as they battle for second behind him. And he's going to know he's coming off turn number 4. Parker Bupp takes the first A-Class non-wing heat race of the year here at Coles County Speedway. Noah Bartley finishes 2nd, Brody Bridgman 3rd, Chevy Boyer 4th, Weston Burner rounding out the top 5, Harrison Robards 6th, Dawson Wright 7th, Danny Vicino 8th, and Sam Coleman rounding out the A-Class and non-wing heat race field.
This is 7th. He's number 14, right? It says 14 on his car. And that concludes the A-Class non-wing heat race. Coming up next will be our junior sprints. And here's your starting lineup for the High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprints. Starting first from Farmington, Missouri, number 32E, Easton Hayes. Starting second from Lovington, Illinois, number 22, Evan France. Starting third from Ashmore, Illinois, number J16, Jasper Hellman. Starting fourth from Farmington, Missouri, number 17, Willow Coleman. Starting fifth from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 10M, Madison Meany. Starting sixth from Oakland, Illinois, number D52, Joe Bonowitz. And starting seventh from Farmington, Missouri, number 40C, Cohen Coleman. Your High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race.
Looks like Chevy Boyer needed a little bit of help getting off the racetrack. As once again, the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints looking for the one to go signal as they make their way out onto the racing surface. As Jasper Hellman will be extending his points lead tonight. Had a 250-point lead before heading into tonight. The second and third place cars not here tonight, so he'll be able to extend his points lead over the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint field. As here comes the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints for their heat race tonight, looking for the one to go signal. See if they can be organized enough as they make their way into turn one. And it looks like they will, as the caution lights will extinguish.
And this is the full 7 entries tonight for our High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints.
Rider on the front row, Easton Hayes, Evan France, as they approach the start cone over in turn number 4. Green flags in the air on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Already the number 17 trying to make moves, along with one car going up and over. That's the 40C of Cohen Coleman.
Red flags out.
Looked like an unfortunate situation there. Racing incident, it looked like. It looked like 3 cars headed, trying to all make one spot, as that 40C of Cohen Coleman coming to a stop on all 4 tires.
You see the safety crew talking to him. He looks like he's okay.
And it looks like we have a report from the safety crew. Cohen Coleman is okay, and it looks like he might be trying to continue on in this heat race. The other car involved was Evan France in the 22. And safety workers talking to Evan France over in turn number 2, seeing if his car is okay.
It looks like he will fire and continue on.
So as they did not complete a lap, it'll be a full race restart for the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints with those 2 cars to the tail end of the field. So the tower is going to get the field set for the race restart with the 22 and 40C at the tail end of the field. So the new front row will be Easton Hayes and Willow Coleman. Behind them will be Jasper Hellman and Joe Bonowitz. And then you'll find Madison Meany, Evan France, and Cohen Coleman rounding out the field.
It looks like there's an issue on the right rear of the number 40 of Coleman, so he will pull into the infield, and his race will be done for the night. Hopefully they get that car fixed up and ready to go again in the feature.
So the field's coming around immediately to the 1 to go signal for, once again, the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprints. Once again, the front row will be Easton Hayes and Willow Coleman as they're going to lead the field back to green. Behind them, you can find Jasper Hellman and Joe Bonowitz. And then you'll find Madison Meany and Evan France as they come to the start cone. Trouble for the 32. Goes up on 2 wheels. That's Easton Hayes. And it looks like a miss on the right rear of Easton Hayes' car, and that's going to end his race.
He has a flat. That tire's coming off the rim. And they will black flag him to get him off the track.
So this will promote the J16 at Jasper Hellman to the front row. As it looks like caution lights get extinguished once again. And no, they won't. They're going to wave this one off. Looks like drivers maybe thought it was a single file restart. So the field's going to double back up as they come off at turn number 4. Jasper Hellman and Willow Coleman will be the front row. Behind them, you'll find Madison Meany and Evan France. And then it'll be the D52 of Joe Bonowitz will be restarting in 5th.
And they will not be coming to the green this time around because the 22 needs to get up alongside the 10 car before they can start.
Sounds like tire switch to order back around. Joe Bonowitz going to the 4th spot as the field approaches the start cone once again. And High Caliber Graphics Junior Sprint Heat Race is green. Willow Coleman really cutting the nose off of Jasper Hellman going down to turn 1. And it will be that 17 of Willow Coleman able to pull out in front of the field as they work their way off turn number 4. Right away, though, that 10 in of Madison Meany starting to work on Jasper Hellman for the 2nd spot. And that 10 in of Madison Meany looks a little bit better down on the bottom of the racetrack and turn off the corner. It's that little bit better. You can stay right on the rear bumper of the J16 of Jasper Hellman. Out in front, though, Willow Coleman turning lap times of about 0.3 of a second faster than the 2nd place car, Jasper Hellman. As Willow Coleman able to extend her lead to over 1.5 seconds as they come around to complete that lap. A little bit of contact there from behind Madison Meany getting into the rear bumper of Jasper Hellman. As laps winding down, Madison Meany is going to look to take the inside going into turn 3 for the 2nd spot. As they make their way back into turns 3 and 4, that 10 in of Madison Meany's through to 2nd on Jasper Hellman. And now we're going to see with clean air, can Madison Meany start to put in lap times equal of the 17 of Willow Coleman as they're coming around to 2 to go on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Willow Coleman with a 2.5 second lead over Madison Meany is going to come around to the white flag on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Jasper Hellman back there in 3rd, sliding off of turn number 4. It'll be that 17 of Willow Coleman making her way back through turns 3 and 4 and collecting the checkered flag on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Race. Madison Meany is going to finish in 2nd, Jasper Hellman 3rd. Joe Bonowitz will come across the line in 4th. Evan France will finish in 5th. Coleman and Easton Hayes, the non-finishers out of the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint Heat Races.
And that concludes the heat race for our high caliber graphic junior sprints. Up next will be our King Chassis D2 midgets. There are only 2 entries tonight. And your King Chassis D2 midgets starting lineup will be from Zanesville, Indiana, number 44 JB, Jacob Boxell. And starting second from Mason City, Illinois, number 11, Brandon Smith. And they're on the track.
Now we will likely give them a few laps to get some heat in their engines, especially for that 44 JB of Jacob Boxell. Yeah, as Boxell's going to get push started over there in turn 1.
Sounds like it wants to fire, but not sure it totally has. Looks like he's good to go. Saw a thumbs up from him there.
None of the top 4 in the King Chassis D2 midget point race is out here tonight, but Brandon Smith back in 5th, able to capitalize tonight on the points situation. As the caution lights will extinguish for the King Chassis D2 midget heat race. Once again, it'll be Jacob Boxell and Brandon Smith making up the King Chassis D2 midget field tonight as they make their way up to the start cone. Green flags in the air. That number 44 JB got up on the berm a little bit, turned that car maybe a little bit too well for his liking, but he's able to hold on to the lead through turns 1 and 2. That 11 of Brandon Smith's car does not look too happy out there. Looks like it doesn't really want to turn very well. At least compared to that 44 JB of Jacob Boxell, who's turning lap times in the range of 10.5 seconds compared to Brandon Smith's 11.5 second lap times. Boxell able to improve even further, down to a sub 10.5 second lap time for that number 44 JB car as he comes around to complete lap number 4. And he's already got himself a half a lap lead over Brandon Smith as they just come around past the halfway point to complete lap number 6 this time for that number 44 JB of Jacob Boxell. Brandon Smith starting to pick up the pace, so up to an 11.3 fastest lap. That last time by for that 11 machine. Jacob Boxell coming off turn number 4, though. He's collecting the white flag on the King Chassis D2 midget heat race. White flag being shown to Brandon Smith, but behind him, checkered flags being shown to Jacob Boxell, and that 44 JB taking the King Chassis D2 midget heat race. Brandon Smith in the 11 will come in second as he exits turn number 4.
And that concludes the King Chassis D2 midgets heat race. Coming up next will be our Strong Elevator A-Class wing with 11 entries. We'll have 2 heat races. And your starting lineup for heat race number 1 will be from Brownsburg, Indiana, number 4R, Cruz Stanfield. Starting second from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 97D, Larry Drake. Starting third from Farmington, Missouri, number 14B, Brody Bridgman. Starting fourth from Greenfield, Indiana, number 51B, Parker Bupp. Starting fifth from New Haven, Missouri, number 25B, Chevy Boyer. And starting sixth From Fairland, Indiana, number 95M, Noah Mell. This is your strong elevator A-Class wing heat race number 1.
And the point situation in this class is very tight. Only 5 points separate the top 2 in the strong elevator A-Class wing points battle. Harrison Robards with a 5-point advantage over Danny Vicino, and it's at 187 points back to the third place Tyler Taylor. Noah Mell, who's starting 6th in this heat race, finds himself 5th in points so far this season, a distant 425 points back of Harrison Robards in 1st.
This should be a highly competitive group this time around. These guys all know their way around there, as this group 2 will be too. You should see some really good racing here.
Looks like Teros to me. I can't see a visor anywhere.
Sounds like track workers might be looking for some debris over there in turns 1 and 2.
So check it out, make sure it's safe first before they bring the cars up out of the pits. As always, safety is our first priority here at Coles County Speedway.
Going back towards the yellow line, looks like Teros. I don't know what he's talking about.
What about on the back stretch under the HCG sign? See it up against the fence, by the fence? That's the only thing I see up here, so I think it must be attached.
We're hearing that they are possibly looking for a piece of the visor off of one of the driver's helmets.
And the strong elevator A-Class wings making their way out of the racetrack for heat race number 1. Front row, once again, going to be Cruz Stanfield and Larry Drake. Row 2 being made up of Brody Bridgman and Parker Bupp. As the caution lights are extinguished for strong elevator A-Class heat race number 1, Chevy Boyer, Noah Mell riding out the field as they come to the start cone. Green flags in the air, the strong elevator A-Class wing heat race. That bottom groove for the race leader, not where it really is tonight. They're 3 wide for second, back down to turns 3 and 4. Everybody able to manage it out as that 97D Larry Drake out in front of the field, as he so often is here at Coles County Speedway. Brody Bridgman running in second right now as they battle behind him. Cruz Stanfield trying to make his way back forwards as Parker Bupp is making his way forward as well. Up to third goes the 51B of Parker Bupp. As we saw in the last couple of heat races, the inside starting line's not there. It looks like the car turns a little bit too much for these drivers. It looks like they might end up clipping up on the berm as they're side by side for the 5th spot now. That'd be Chevy Boyer and Cruz Stanfield, as Stanfield continues to fade back in the field, back into the last spot after starting on the pole here in the first strong elevator A-Class wing heat race. Still, though, that 97D Larry Drake still out in front over second place Brody Bridgman, as that Larry Drake car is setting really good lap times, having himself a 1.5 advantage over Bridgman, and Parker Bupp, who himself is about 1.2 seconds back of second place Brody Bridgman. White flags in the air for Larry Drake as he comes around back to turn 1 this time. Rest of the field single file and spread out as Drake comes off turn number 2, back into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Larry Drake takes the first strong elevator A-Class wing heat race. Brody Bridgman second, Parker Bupp third, Noah Mel fourth, Chevy Boyer fifth. Cruz Stanfield is going to round out the first Strong Invader A-Class Wing Heat Race.
Your window's fogging up on the outside.
Looks like Chevy Boyer needing a little bit of help to get off the racetrack here.
And coming up next will be our Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race number 2. Final heat race for this class. And your starting lineup will be, starting first from Dardenne Prairie, Missouri, number 11R, Harrison Robarbs. Starting second from Oakland, Illinois, number 6, Clayton Apple. Starting third from Findlay, Tennessee, number 29, Lane Surratt. Starting fourth from Terre Haute, Indiana, number 21V, Danny Vizino. And starting fifth from Sullivan, Illinois, number 87, Colin Shane. Your Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race number 2 at Coles County Speedway.
So the field comes around to the one-to-go signal right away. As your top 2 in points here at Coles County Speedway are in this heat race. Harrison Robards, Danny Vecino starting first and fourth. As the front row of Harrison Robards and Clayton Apple make their way through the start cone. Green flags in the air on the second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race. Right away, Harrison Robards able to defend his lead over Clayton Apple as they come through to complete lap number 1. Danny Vecino up to third through lap number 1 as well. Vecino trying to make his way forward, has one less start this year than Harrison Robards. Has had a very good year, and the races he has started quite a few top 5s for that number 21V machine. Harrison Robards, though, with a half a second lead over second place Clayton Apple, and then you'll find another half second before you can find Danny Vecino, who started to come under pressure from that 87 of Colin Shane as they make their way back through turns 1 and 2. Colin Shane really trying to sit down some good lap times, but fading back from Danny Vecino. Vecino just posted his fastest lap of the race, as did race leader Harrison Robards as he comes around to the white flag. Or excuse me, 2 to go. Harrison Robards with about a second advantage over Clayton Apple. So he went to the high side there, lost a ton of ground to Clayton Apple as the white flag's in the air for that 11R. Harrison Robards works through turns 3 and 4, and he'll take the second and final Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race over Clayton Apple, Danny Vecino, Colin Shane, Lane Surratt. The finishing order for the second Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Heat Race.
And that concludes our heat races for the Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Division. Coming up next will be our Mod Lights with 14 divisions, 2 heat races. And here is your starting lineup for the Mod Lights Heat Race number 1. Starting first from Mitchell, Indiana, number 17, Jimmy Arthur. Starting second from Festus, Missouri, number 8, Dylan Niger. Starting third from Mequon, Illinois, number 27, Rocky Meyer. Starting fourth from West Frankfort, Illinois, number 7, Matt Filkins. Starting fifth from Marion, Illinois, number 75, Jay Parks. Starting sixth from Freeman Spur, Illinois, number 99, Josh Hutchinson. And starting seventh from Colchester, Illinois, number 24, Michael Mann. This is the Mod Lights Heat Race number 1. Once again, this is a new class to us here at Coles County Speedway. We love to see these different cars running out here. I think it's going to be a pretty highly competitive division.
Absolutely, as looks like they're sending a track worker back there to help Rocky Mayer get fired up from his third place starting spot in that number 27 machine.
All right, and the cars are rolling out on the track now. Again, this is our Mod Lights Heat Race number 1 of 2.
These cars must be really light because they bounce a lot. I think these are ones supposed to be real cheap to run, isn't it? Because they're all like spec cars.
So the field's going to be coming around to the 1 to go signal this time by. Hey, Kevin, that was my fault. I forgot to tell you that the 27 of Rocky Mayer headed to the rear off of his choosing. So caution lights extinguished for the first Mod Light Heat Race. Once again, the front row of Jimmy Arthur and Dylan Nager as they approach the start cone over in turn number 4. Green flags in the air. Nager to the lead as they go down to turn 1. That 8 car has some speed, and an issue on that 27 car, it looks right, of Rocky Mayer. That car not getting up to speed at all, as you're already seeing these drivers fan out as they try to make their way, try to find some space on the racetrack for the first time. These guys are racing each other. They're 3 wide off turn number 2. That's 07 of Matt Filkins making his way up to the second spot. 17, Jimmy Arthur continuing to fade back in the field as he's going to go around, up and over he goes over in turn 1. Red lights displayed as he comes to a stop on all 4 wheels.
I just have to be looking at him and going through. It looked like he caught a rut, and that's what turned him over.
He hit the 16 car before, remember?
It is possible that something may have broken on that car, as that one was involved in the turnover earlier in turns 3 and 4 during the hot laps with the 16 car. But it did look like he caught a rut and just turned him over. Safety crews talking to him now to make sure he's okay. Once again, safety is priority 1 here at Coles County Speedway.
And it looks like he's climbing out of that car and taking a look at it. Tough break there for Jimmy Arthur down at turn 1.
And it appears he will not be able to continue as they're bringing the wrecker in to get the car up off the track. It's good to see he's up and moving around. Let's give a big round of applause, everybody, to Jimmy Arthur from Mitchell, Indiana. Glad to see he's okay.
So with 1 lap officially scored, they're going to be headed for a single file restart for the first heat race of the Mod Lights.
Especially through 3 and 4, I see the left rear tire come up off the ground on these cars a lot. I don't see it so much in 1 and 2, but 3 and 4, I see it.
So the caution lights back out as once again track workers are going to have to help Rocky Mayer get refired over there in turn 1 in the 27. As Jimmy Arthur headed back towards the pit area, hopefully they can get that car repaired and back out here for the Mod Light feature later tonight. So Tower's going to get the field into the correct position as they're going to come around to the 1 to go signal. And coming back to the restart will be the number 8 of Dylan Nager. Will be leading the field back to green. Behind him, you can find Josh Hutchinson, Matt Filkins, Jay Parks, Michael Mann, and Rocky Mayer. There are the cars left here in the first Mod Light heat race. As they work their way back into turns 3 and 4, looking for the green flag. Taking his time, green flag's back in the air on the first heat race for the Mod Lights. As field makes their way through turns 1 and 2, looking to try to find some room. A little bit of contact there between Jay Parks and Michael Mann as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. And now Nager under a ton of pressure from Josh Hutchinson as they come back into turns 1 and 2. Nager using about the middle groove to get himself a good run through turns 1 and 2. They come up to the high side over in turns 3 and 4. Left rear in the air for that number 7 of Matt Filkins. That car's got a lot of speed still in it. As these drivers really trying to find their marks here for the first time here at Coles County Speedway in a race condition as they come around to complete the halfway mark. Top 3 still under a blanket as they're battling for 4th behind them. Jay Parks, Michael Mann, side or not quite side by side just yet, but lap times continuing to wind down as now side by side for the race lead. That 99, Josh Hutchinson backs out of it, going back into turns 3. White flags in the air though for that number 8 of Dylan Nager as they approach the lap traffic of the 27 of Rocky Mayer. See if everybody's going to be able to navigate this traffic just a little bit. The 99 is going to make some contact with the 27. Caution is going to come out as the checkered flag flies. And that should indent Josh Hutchinson. Going to be headed towards the rear of the official finishing order. As it will be Dylan Nager taking the first Mod Light heat race win.
Yeah, it looked like he took a big chance there trying to come underneath that slow car coming through that last turn that cost him that spin.
Second place will go to Matt Filkins. Third, Jay Parks. Fourth will be Michael Mann. Josh Hutchinson will be awarded with a 5th place finish with Rocky Mayer in 6th and Jimmy Arthur, the only non-finisher out of the first Mod Light heat race.
And that concludes Mod Light Heat Race number 1. And coming up next will be our final heat race of the night, heat number 2 for the Mod Lights. And your starting lineup will be, starting first from Farmington, Missouri, number 32C, Christopher Hayes. Starting second from Anna, Illinois, number 9, Barry Evans. Starting third from Kelowna, Illinois, number 18G, Robert Gonzalez. Starting fourth from Colchester, Illinois, number 16P, Mike Pershing. Starting fifth from Metamora, Illinois, number 171, Brandon Freeberg. Starting sixth from Farmington, Missouri, number 16C, Sam Coleman. And starting seventh from Colina, Illinois, number 163G, Blake Gonzalez. Your Mod Lights heat race number 2, our final heat race of the evening.
Caution lights extinguished for the second Mod Light heat race, as they're going to make their way back into turns 3 and 4, where they're going to find the start cone. Once again, the front row being made up of Christopher Hayes and Barry Evans as they're coming around to the green. Green flags in the air on the second Mod Light heat race. Right away, a bunch of guys taking advantage. First good start we've seen from the bottom groove so far tonight for Christopher Hayes, as he's got himself a decent-sized lead as they work their way back through turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide off turn number 4 for second. Everybody trying to get their cars woed back up as they make their way back through turns 1 and 2. As the 18 of Robert Gonzalez taking that second spot for now, but right behind him, Brandon Freeberg looks really good back in that number 171 in third. Trouble for the 9. Barry Evans goes way up the track over in turns 1 and 2. That car not looking like it really wants to turn very well, as that car almost caught the outside wall in turn number 2. Now trouble for the race leader. Here comes Robert Gonzalez on Christopher Hayes looking for the race lead. Back through turns 3 and 4, that number 18G to the race lead. Robert Gonzalez to the lead as that number 9 continues to fade back further in the field, dropping back to the tail of the lead lap cars. As the rest of the field coming across to complete lap number 5, Robert Gonzalez holding on to the lead over Brandon Freeberg. Freeberg, though, is really looking there as the battle for third between Christopher Hayes and Blake Gonzalez really brewing up. White flags in the air for Robert Gonzalez as Brandon Freeberg going to have one more shot over in turns 3 and 4. Gets the berm, and that might just allow that 18G of Robert Gonzalez to get it far enough away as they come off of turn number 4. Checkered flag for Robert Gonzalez here on heat race number 2 for the Mod Lights. Brandon Freeberg second. Christopher Hayes able to hold on to third over Blake Gonzalez. Sam Coleman will finish in 5th. Mike Pershing 6th, and Barry Evans will finish in 7th.
And then number 9 car, Barry Evans, tagged the wall up there coming out of turn number 2 and partway down the backstretch, but he was able to collect it and keep it going straight. But he's got a little damage to that car. He should be able to get that fixed, though, to continue on to the feature. That concludes our heat races for the night, so we'll take a short intermission while they inspect the track, let the drivers work on their cars, and let the tower set the lineup for the features. In the meanwhile, get out your admission tickets because it's time to give away a T-shirt and a snack voucher. So please get those tickets out now. I'll give you a moment here to get them out. All right, the first winning ticket will be for the Coles County Speedway shirt. If we pull your ticket number, go down to the admission office to claim your prize. First ticket winning number is 890302557. That's 890302557. Go down to the admissions booth to get your prize. That's the T-shirt. Our second winning ticket for the snack voucher at our concession stand is ticket number 8903027. That's 8903027. If this is your ticket, go down to the admissions office where you paid to get in and claim your prize. Thank you.
And it's feature time here from Coles County Speedway. And coming up first, going to be the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros for a 20-lap feature. Lydia May from Terre Haute, Indiana, 71M is going to lead the field to green. Starting second is going to be Lane Surratt in the 29 from Findlay, Tennessee. Starting third is going to be Tanner Trilbert from Lincoln, Illinois in the 22. Starting fourth is going to be Cole Jones from Streator, Illinois in the 17. Mackenzie Dowler in the 1K from Springfield, Illinois is going to start fifth. Starting sixth is going to be Bella Coleman in the 12 from Farmington, Missouri. Starting seventh is going to be Mackenzie Meany in the 10M from Terre Haute, Indiana. Starting eighth is going to be Chase Button from Martin, Illinois in the 9C. Starting ninth is going to be Cameron Jacobs in the 55J from Chatham, Illinois. And rounding out the field in the 14 car is Niles Tudor from Harrisburg, Illinois, as the fields receive the 1-to-go signal. We're headed green next time by on this 20-lap feature for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros. So in the front row will be the 71 in Lydia May, and the 29 Lane Surratt's going to be leading the field to green as they come to the start cone over in turns 4. Green flags in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Tightly packed field as they make their way through turns 1 and 2. Top 2 pulling away, though, from Tanner Triplett, who's running in third. Some debris. Looks like they're thinking about throwing the caution, and they will, in fact, throw the caution here for debris at the conclusion of lap number 1. Or, excuse me, lap number 2. That piece of debris will be picked up. So the field's going to come around to the 1-to-go signal. So the 1-to-go signal being given this time by for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature Field. Top 3 will be Lydia May, Lane Surratt, and Tanner Triplett. So Tara had to take an extra lap there to get the restart order correct. So it'll be Lydia May, Lane Surratt, Cole Jones, the top 3 on the restart as the field works their way down the backstretch and looking for the restart, or the 1-to-go signal as they come through turns 3 and 4. Restarting fourth is going to be Tanner Triplett. Restarting fifth, Mackenzie Dowler, as the caution or 1-to-go signal is going to get waved off. Once again, the top 5 on the restart will be Lydia May, Lane Surratt, Cole Jones, Tanner Triplett, Mackenzie Dowler. Then further back, you can find Mackenzie Meany, Bella Coleman, Cameron Jacobs, Chase Button, and Niles Tudor. Niles Tudor did not make his way out onto the racetrack. So it appears that the scoring loop may have picked up the transponders wrong. So they're going to take a couple extra laps here to make sure the order they have is correct. So that will put Tanner Triplett back into the 3rd place restarting position and Mackenzie Dowler into the 4th restarting position. As the field's coming around to 1-to-go this time by. Caution lights extinguished for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature once again. The top 3, Lydia May, Lane Surratt, and Tanner Triplett. Further back, you can find Mackenzie Meany and Cole Jones, who rounds out the top 5 as they approach the restart cone. Green flags back in the air on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. A lot of jostling further back in the field as they come back to green. Dowler got a little bump from behind Bella Coleman car as Coleman goes through up to the 6th spot as they come around and complete the first lap of the restart. And now this time it'll be Lydia May really getting in a groove this time, trying to pull away from Lane Surratt. She's got a half a second advantage over Surratt, and then it's another half second back to Tanner Triplett, the points leader out of the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micros. Now the field single file as they work their way back around the racetrack, as everybody's starting to find their grooves in the 12C of Bella Coleman, looking to starting battle it out for the 5th spot, as Coleman looks to be turning just a little bit of a tick faster lap times. Jones in front of her. Cole Jones will able to hit his marks and then start to pull that 1 and 2. Coleman just does not have a good of a car when she's trying to follow down there in turns 1 and 2. As Coleman falls away from Jones for the 5th spot. Out in front, still Lydia May, Lane Surratt, and Tanner Triplett. Triplett has closed in on Surratt, though, to within about 0.2 of a second. Is that number 22 car on the back end of Lane Surratt in that 29. Tanner Triplett looking really good around the bottom of the racetrack, really getting that car, getting a good run off the corners. He's going to be there with a shot at the 2nd spot in just a few lap time. Tanner Triplett really good down there in the bottom in turns 3 and 4. Lane Surratt pulls it back out in turns 1 and 2. As laps continuing to wind down past the halfway mark on the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature. Tanner Triplett now to the inside of Lane Surratt off turn number 2. Backs out of it by the time they get down to turns 3 and 4. Surratt just had too big of a run down the back stretch, and Tanner Triplett can't quite keep the nose in there, as he's got to try to back it up and try this move again. Lap time's winding down, though, for race leader Lydia May. That's exactly what she wants to see right behind her, is those two cars battling it out for second, as she's now continuing to extend her lead out to 1.2 seconds as they start to get into lap traffic. Tanner Triplett to the inside with a big move in turns 3 and 4. Not going to work. He's going to fall back to 3rd as Lane Surratt starting to hit his marks and starting to close in on race leader Lydia May as they approach the slower car of Chase Button out in front of them. Lydia May may not have to deal with this lap traffic car of Bunton as the laps wind down. Blue flag being shown to the 9C. Lap times, though, within a second now is Lane Surratt of race leader Lydia May. The question is if he can get there and then if he can pass Lydia May. And not going to sure if they have enough in the tank. 2 to go. 0.8 of a second advantage for Lydia May in that 71M. Lydia May really getting close to the back end of Chase Button. White flags in the air for Lydia May as she makes her way back down to turns 1 and 2. Rest of the field managing back through the track. Lydia May, trouble for Lydia May. She gets up, almost misses the corner off turn number 2, but off turn number 4, Lydia May holds on for the Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature win. Lane Surratt 2nd, Tanner Triplett 3rd, Mackenzie Meany 4th, Bella Coleman across the line, rounding out the top 5. Cole Jones 6th, Mackenzie Dollar 7th, Cameron Jacobs 8th, Chase Button rounding out the field in the 9th place finishing spot, and Niles Tudor was the car that did not start. So Lydia May is going to make her way down into the Coles County Speedway victory lane for the first time this year, where she'll be joined by our victory lane reporter, Kevin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's give her a big round of applause to Lydia May. Your Patriot Landscaping Restricted Micro Feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. Come on over, Lydia. How are you?
Good.
Hey, you look good. You led it from start to finish. Your car looked good out there. You look good driving the car. What can you tell me about it?
I don't know.
How was your race?
It was fun and good.
Good. How was the track for you?
It was good.
Good.
Yeah. Engler, PMM, Pepleys. I don't know.
All right, is this your first win at Coles County?
Yeah.
All right, well, congratulations. She'll get used to this winning stuff the way she's driving. Well, again, let's give a big round of applause to Lydia May, your Patriot Landscape Restricted Micro winner at Coles County Speedway. Hey, Lydia, that's yours. Ladies and gentlemen, this is only their 5th race she's ever won. Ever raced. It's the 5th time she's ever raced, and she's already a feature winner. How about that? Congratulations, Lydia. Great job.
So as Lydia May makes her way off the racetrack as a feature winner here at Coles County Speedway, that'll make way for the A-Class non-wings to make their way out on the racetrack for their feature. Starting on the pole for the A-Class non-wing feature is going to be Chevy Boyer on the 25B from New Haven, Missouri. Starting second in the 7F, or excuse me, it'll be the 14F, will be Nolan Bartley from Hammond, Illinois. Parker Butt from Greenfield, Indiana in the 51B will start third with Brody Bridgman from Farmington, Missouri in the 14B, starting in fourth. Starting fifth will be Harrison Robards in the 11R from Darting Prairie, Missouri, with Weston Berner from Terre Haute, Indiana, the 24, starting in 6th. Dawson Wright from Terre Haute, Indiana, in the 12 is going to start 7th, with Danny Vicino from also from Terre Haute, Indiana, in the 21V, starting in 8th. And rounding out the field in the 9th and final starting spot is going to be Sam Coleman from Farmington, Missouri, in the 16C. And joining us up in the flag stand for The A-Class non-wing feature is a very special guest here tonight at Coles County Speedway. Jackson Bartley from Las Vegas, Nevada. He'll be the honorary starter for the A-Class non-wing feature. And now the A-Class non-wing feature making their way out onto the racetrack for their 20-lap feature tonight. So the A-Class non-wing feature field's going to come around to the 1-to-go signal, this time by. Once again, the front row will be Chevy Boyer and Nolan Bartley. As the caution lights extinguish. And the field's going to make their way off turn number 2. And down the backstretch towards turns 3 and 4. Where they're looking for the green flag from our honorary starter tonight, Jackson Bartley. And green flag's in the air for the A-Class non-wing feature right away. Nolan Bartley trying to take the lead away from Chevy Boyer, but Chevy Boyer out in front got a really good race car tonight. Went from last to 5th in the feature. Nolan Bartley there trying to make the move. Didn't quite work that time. Nolan Bartley, though, still hanging on, looking to the inside of Chevy Boyer. He's really wanting this win tonight. They're going to be 3 wide for the race lead as they come off of turn number 2. Brody Bridgman getting involved now. Up into the air goes the front tires of Brody Bridgman. That'll allow Nolan Bartley to get alongside Chevy Boyer. A little bit of contact made. Still that number 14 of Nolan Bartley trying to make the move stick now. Brody Bridgman gets to Bartley's inside. Chevy Boyer still holding on to the race lead over Nolan Bartley. Bartley trying to make that low line work. Not really trying so far, trying to make a big move so far. About 0.3 of a second behind. Nolan Bartley now fading back a little bit further off the rear bumper of Chevy Boyer. Chevy Boyer starting to hit his marks, starting to pull away. Send that good lap times down. Caution's going to come out as Harrison Robards goes around in turn number 2. Harrison Robards stuck up on the berm. This will allow Nolan Bartley to get another chance to try to take away the lead from Chevy Boyer. Track worker still working on getting that 11R Harrison Robards refired over there at turn number 2. And it looks looks like Harrison will be able to get his engine refired, and he'll join back in at the tail end of the A-Class non-wing feature field. So the field's coming back around to the one-to-go signal with the caution lights extinguished. Once again, Chevy Boyer, Nolan Bartley, Brody Bridgman, the top three. A little bit further back, you'll find Parker Bupp, Weston Berner, and Harrison Robards moves to the tail for the cause of caution. And the green flag's back in the air on the A-Class non-wing feature. Nolan Bartley trying to make that move work already on the bottom off the restart. Doesn't work that time as Chevy Boyer is going to try to pull away out in front of the field. Chevy Boyer really making that middle groove work. Now Nolan Bartley going to follow him up there. They got a really good run that time. Comes the 14 and Nolan Bartley through the corner. Chevy Boyer bouncing, losing some lap time to that number 14 of Nolan Bartley. Bartley really trying to make this work as they come around to complete lap number 10 as they come off of turn number 4 this time. As the top 4 now all the way up to the middle of the racetrack. Brody Bridgman really thinking about trying to make a move around the 14 of Nolan Bartley. Bartley's just taking his time, making it see where it might stick around that number 25 of Chevy Boyer. Chevy Boyer still was setting really good lap times, but Nolan Bartley just set his fastest lap time of the night. And here comes Nolan Bartley on the inside off of turn number 4. He takes the lead away. Nolan Bartley to the lead off the completion of lap number 12, and he's pulling away as he comes off turn number 4 this time. Chevy Boyer fading back now to Brody Bridgman. Bridgman back in third, looking already on the Chevy Boyer for the second spot. Chevy Boyer throws it in there to turns 3 and 4. Doesn't stick. Nolan Bartley holds on for now. Nolan Bartley making his way back through turns 3 and 4. He's going to complete lap 15 this time. Caution's going to come out once again. Harrison Robards goes around over in turn number 2. It's been a tough night for that 11R Harrison Robards. Only 8 cars out there on the racetrack right now. Dawson Wright did come out onto the racetrack, completed 3 laps, and unfortunately that ended his A-Class non-wing feature. So with 14 laps down in the books, field's going to have to catch back up to Nolan Bartley out at the front of the field. Chevy Boyer slow up at the top of turn number 2. Under caution here as he's headed towards the tail end of the field. Something amiss on that 25 car. As he was looking towards the infield there, looks like whatever issue he had, he was able to get it resolved, and he's going to pull back up to his second place restarting position. So the top 3, once again, Nolan Bartley, Chevy Boyer, Brody Bridgman on the restart as the caution lights extinguished. Further back, you can find Parker Bupp, Weston Berner, who rounds out the top 5. Then a little bit further back, in the 6th spot, you can find Sam Coleman, Danny Vicino, and Harrison Robards will be rounding out the A-Class non-wing feature field as they come back to green. Nolan Bartley looking at the middle of the racetrack, dives at the restart cone. Green flags back in the air on the A-Class non-wing feature. Chevy Boyer dives it in big time to turns 1 and 2. Tries to get to the left rear of Nolan Bartley. Didn't work that time. Throws a big slider down there. Turns 3 and 4. Doesn't stick. Nolan Bartley holding on to the lead. Now Chevy Boyer knows that lap times are running out, as he's really just trying to dive it in there, trying to get to the inside of Nolan Bartley. Force a mistake. Nolan Bartley keeping a cool head and staying out in front. And now they're coming around to complete lap number 17. Nolan Bartley still looking really good in the middle of the racetrack. Chevy Boyer trying to make the sliders on the bottom work, trying to find any time he can. Not happening at all. He's running just a tad bit slower than Nolan Bartley right now, as Bartley extending his lead to over half a second over Chevy Boyer. Further back, Brody Bridgman under a ton of pressure for Parker Bupp. Trouble for Chevy Boyer, who pulls down to the infield from second. White flags in the air for Nolan Bartley. And Bartley with a 2.25 lead off turn number 2 and back to turns 3 and 4. It'll be Nolan Bartley that's going to take the A-Class non-wing feature. Brody Bridgman finishes in second, Parker Bupp third, Weston Burner fourth, Sam Coleman fifth, Harrison Robart sixth, Danny Vicino seventh, and Chevy Boyer with a mechanical issue on the last lap exiting turn number 2 will be awarded a 8th place finish, and Dawson Wright the other non-finisher. So Nolan Bartley will make his way down to Coles County Victory Lane, where once again he'll be joined by our Victory Lane reporter, Kevin.
All right, folks, he's out of his car. Let's give a big round of applause to Nolan Bartley, your A-Class non-wing feature winner.
Oh, that feels good.
You won, you get to do whatever you want. All right, let's give another big round of applause, guys. Excellent. That's yours. Thank you. Come on down. All right, I'm down here in Victory Lane with a race winner, Nolan Bartley. Nolan, that was a heck of a race. I mean, you and Chevy Boyer, you were neck and neck the whole way around, and really Brody Bridgman and Parker Bupp were in the mix too. You were able to hold them off. Can you walk me through it?
Yeah, I was just waiting my opportunity to pass Chevy. I know he's pretty fast. And I'd like to thank all my sponsors for making my car so fast tonight. And I'd like to thank strippers and cocaine.
Okay, very good. This race have a little more extra special meaning for you tonight?
Yes, it's, I've wanted to win for a while, and it's finally happened.
Yeah. How was it having Jackson up there starting the race for you?
Oh, that was fun. He flew out from Las Vegas, and yeah, just here to have a good time.
All right, excellent. Anybody else?
I'd like to thank my dad and my grandma and grandpa for coming, and my mom, and Ryan France especially,
Is that it?
and all the family members that came tonight.
All right, excellent. It's a big family. Look at this. That's a lot of support for you. All right. Once again, everybody, let's congratulate race winner Nolan Bartley, your A-Class non-wing feature winner at Coles County Speedway, and his extended family here tonight.
Stand up here beside him. Get some, come on up here, stand beside him.
And Nolan Bartley making his way off the racetrack, picking up his first win of the year here at Coles County Speedway in the A-Class non-wing feature. As for the first two features tonight, we've seen the trend of first-time winners, and we'll see if that can continue on in the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature. Starting on the pole is going to be the 17 of Willow Coleman from Farmington, Missouri. Starting in second is going to be Madison Meany from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 10M. Starting third is going to be Joe Bonowitz from Oakland, Illinois in the D52. Starting fourth is going to be Jasper Hellman from Ashmore, Illinois in the J16. Starting fifth is going to be Cohen Coleman from Farmington, Missouri in the 40C, with Evan France in the 22 from Levington, Illinois, starting in sixth. Then rounding out the field in the seventh and final starting spots will be the 32E of Easton Hayes from Farmington, Missouri. And the High Caliber Graphic Juniors is making their way out on the racetrack now for their 15-lap feature. Caution lights extinguished for the field, as they're going to be looking to come to the green this time by the front row, being made up of two drivers who have yet to win this year at Coles County Speedway. Willow Coleman, Madison Meany going to be leading the field up to the start cone in turn 4. Green flags in the air on the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature. Madison Meany tries to dive to the inside off turn number 2. Doesn't work though, and Willow Coleman out in front in that number 17 is going to try to pull away from the field behind her. Willow Coleman able to sit down about half a second lead through lap number 1. Coming to the end of lap number 2, Madison Meany not able to close in, loses about 3/10 that time. Jasper Hellman running in third in the J16. Finds himself about half a second behind second place Madison Meany, as Willow Coleman extending her lead out to about a second over Madison Meany. Easton Hayes in the 32E making his way forward, though. Started in last, up to fourth already. And by the way, the 40C, Cohen Coleman, did not make the start of the race. And he'll be the first non-finisher. The field continuing to get a little bit spread out as Easton Hayes starting to close in on Jasper Hellman for the third spot as they come off turn number 4 this time. Easton Hayes able to close that gap down to within about half a second as they complete lap number 6. Still, that number 17 of Willow Coleman out in front over Madison Meany. Jasper Hellman holding on to that third spot for now, but a hard-charging Easton Hayes is right behind him. And now Easton Hayes with a big run down the backstretch, looking into turns 3 and 4, looking to try to make that car turn a little bit better, looking to take any advantage possible around that J16 to Jasper Hellman. Hellman's got about a 3/10 of a second advantage at that last time around at the timing light. Not going to extend to that time, but Easton Hayes not going to close in any that time as blue flag being shown to Evan France as Willow Coleman gets to the rear bumper of that number 22. 16 of Jasper Hellman, and they're about 5 seconds back off second place Madison Meany. And right now the battle still continuing out in front of Willow Coleman, having it extended out to about a full second over Madison Meany. 2 to go for that number 17 of Willow Coleman as the third place battle is still going on. Jasper Hellman still holding on to that third spot for now as white flags being shown to the 17 of Willow Coleman as they make their way back off turn number 4. Easton Hayes looking to the inside. Jasper Hellman can't do it there, but off turn number 4, it's the 17 of Willow Coleman taking the High Caliber Graphic Junior Sprint feature. Madison Meany is going to finish in second. And it looks like Easton Hayes not quite going to be close enough, and that will be the J16 of Jasper Hellman finishing in third. Then Easton Hayes fourth, Joe Bonowitz fifth, Evan France sixth, and Cohen Coleman did not start and will be awarded a 7th place finish. So the trend continues in the features, with Willow Coleman becoming a first-time winner this year here at Coles County Speedway. As Willow makes her way into the Coles County Speedway victory lane, she'll be joined once again by our victory lane reporter, Kevin.
All right, folks, give a big round of applause to your high caliber graphics junior sprint winner, Willow Coleman. All right, Willow, once again, congratulations. That looked like fun. How was it?
It was good.
It's good. How long you been racing?
3 years.
3 years? How old are you?
Sammy's hauling, and yeah, and my parents and everyone who works on the race car.
All right, that's great. All right, Coles County Speedway.
On the year here at Coles County Speedway continue. We're guaranteed to have another first win here at Coles County Speedway for these next drivers. It'll be the King Chassis D2 Midgets. And starting on the pole is going to be from Mason City, Illinois in the 11. It's Jacob Boxwell's first start here at Coles County Speedway here in 2024. Brandon Smith's made 2 starts before with a best finish of 3rd on June 8th. So once again, going to have to get the 44 JB of Jacob Boxell push started as he makes his way down the front stretch. Interval to be fired, and they're going to give him a couple laps here to get some heat in those engines before we can send the King Chassis D2 Midgets green on their feature. The field's going to work their way through turns 3 and 4. And the caution lights will extinguish once again for the King Chassis D2 Midget field. Jake Way. Through the start cone, and green flags in the air on the King Chassis D2 Midget feature. Brandon Smith's going to try to get a run along the outside over in turns 1 and 2. Not enough that time as Jacob Boxell going to start making that middle groove work and try to pull away from that 11 of Brandon Smith. Smith trailing by about half a second at the end of lap number 1. Jacob Boxell is going to come around, complete lap number 2, extending his gap even more with a very much of an improved lap time there, and is going to extend his lead by out over a second as they come around and complete lap number 3. Now, 2.5 advantage for Jacob Boxell as he continues to extend his lead over Brandon Smith as both drivers right around the middle of the racetrack as they continue to find their lines, and maybe a little bit of a test session for these guys for later in the year when the Mar Midgets come back to town. So 5 laps in the books for these drivers. And still that number 44 JB, Jacob Boxell, still putting down his fastest laps of the race. Just set his fastest once again with a 10.649. Jacob Boxell now with about half a lap advance. Midget Feature. Racing last time they were here, they put on an amazing show as they'll take their next event here at Coles County Speedway right after the Keith Coons. Number 10, Jacob Boxell with a very commanding lead as now blue flag's going to be shown to that number 11 of Brandon Smith as they're going to come around and complete lap number 12 will be Jacob Boxell, who got sideways that time off turn number 4, lost some time as it's both these drivers really working on their lines. As white flags being shown for Jacob Boxell this time by in that 44 JB. And Jacob Boxell going to make his way back down through turns 3 and 4. And off turn number 4, it'll be the checkered flags in the air for Jacob Boxell, your King Chassis D2 Midget Feature winner over Brandon Smith. So 4 for 4 on first-time winners this year here at Coles County Speedway as Jacob Boxell will make his way down to Coles County Speedway. And as Jacob Boxell will pull his car down into victory lane, once again he'll be joined by our victory lane reporter, Kevin.
All right, he's up and out of his car. Let's give a big round of applause to Jacob Boxell from Zanesville, Indiana, your King Chassis D2 Midget Feature winner. Okay, Jacob, you look like you had it figured out there. The car looks smooth all the way. A whole lot about these cars. What can you tell us about them?
So it's picture a national midget. I heard you guys had the Extreme here a couple weeks ago, maybe as a month now. Imagine that, the same car and everything, just put a junkyard motor in it pretty much is what it is. And it's just a budget midget class. Instead of going micro racing, it just gives you a little bit more of a comfortable feel for like if you want to get in a sprint car or a national midget. It's just the pedals are straight up and down and instead of forward. Like back at the Midwest Thunder Midgets, there's a lot of Hondas and Ecotechs. Actually, we get beat by a lot more Ecotechs and Hondas, so I think they got it figured out a little bit more than us, and it was kind of a practice day for us.
Good, look good. So, yeah, I really don't know what else to say because you got thank any sponsors or.
Yeah, I got to thank Boxell, Merkler Racing, Engler, Indy Racing Images, Double R Designs, Mannix for Quan, Matt Westfall. Bradley Boyer comes and helps and busts his butt every weekend for us. Just a great guy. Bordner Welding, Robin Joe's Body Shop, Lynn Cook, Simpson Enterprise, or Bennick Enterprise, and Simpson Racing Products.
Excellent. All right, congratulations again. Let's give one more round of applause, everybody. Jacob Boxell, your D2 Midget Feature, your King Chassis D2 Midget Feature winner at Coles County Speedway.
So Jacob Boxell will make his way out of Coles County Speedway victory lane with his first win of the year here at the historic track. And we're going to see if the first-time winner streak can be broken here on the Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature. Larry Drake in the 97D from Terre Haute, Indiana is going to start on the pole. Harrison Robards in the 11R from Darting Prairie, Missouri starts second, with Brody Bridgman in the 14B from Farmington, Missouri starting in third. Starting fourth is going to be Clayton Napple in the 6th from Oakland, Illinois. Starting fifth is going to be Parker Bupp in the 51B from Greensfield, Indiana. Starting sixth, Danny Vicino from Terre Haute, Indiana in the 21V. And starting seventh is going to be Noah Mell from Farland, Indiana in the 95M. Colin Shane from Sullivan, Illinois in the 87 starts 8th, with Chevy Boyer from New Haven, Missouri in the 25B starting in 9th. Lane Surratt from Findlay, Tennessee in the 29 starts 10th, with Cruz Stanfield from Brownburg, Indiana in the 4R rounding out the field in the 11th and final starting spot. The Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature field is on the track. On the front row, you can find Larry Drake, who has picked up one win this year here at Coles County Speedway, but alongside him, Harrison Robards never won here at Coles County Speedway, at least not this year, and in his last 20 attempts here at Coles County Speedway, hasn't picked up a win yet. Harrison Robards' best finish this year here at Coles County Speedway is a pair of third-place finishes on June 29th and July 13th in this very class. So the field's going to come around to the 1-to-go signal. They're going to be looking for the green next time by. And we're going to see if the first-time winner's streak will continue or if it ends here tonight here in the Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature. So Larry Drake and Harrison Robards is going to come around. They're going to lead the field to green as they approach the start cone at turn number 4. Larry Drake gets a great jump, and green flags in the air. Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature. A lot of movement down there on the bottom as they were 3 wide going down to turn 1. Brody Bridgman tried to force the issue. Just wasn't quite there with the race car as they're 2 and 3 wide further back in the field. One car pulled down to the infield off turn number 2. Cruz Stanfield did not complete a lap in that number 4 arts machine, And he's going to be pushed further into a safer spot on the infield. Out in front, though, is that 97D of Larry Drake looking to snap a short winless drought for that number 97D machine. As the 11R Harrison Robards really trying to find his way around this racetrack, trying to find time. Larry Drake about 1/10 of a second a lap faster than second place Harrison Robards. Now Brody Bridgman coming under pressure from Parker Bupp behind him. And further back, you can see Clayton Napple coming under a ton of pressure from Noah Mell for the 5th spot. Parker Bupp, though, really trying to make his way forward as he's really trying to work on that number 14 car of Brody Bridgman. Bridgman is now able to extend his position a little bit further out. Harrison Robards starting to close in on Larry Drake just a little bit this time. Got a 10th back on him that last time by. Had a 10th last time, lost a 10th that time. Gap remains at just about 1 second as Danny Vicino pulls up in front of Colin Shane and able to hold on for that 7th spot for now. Clayton Apple able to pull away from Noah Mell for the 5th spot as now the top 5 spread out. And you have a few cars further back still battling it out. That'd be Danny Vicino and Colin Shane side by side for about the 7th spot. Of trouble over at turn number 2. That's Parker Bupp. And the caution's going to fly for the first time here on the Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature. Parker Bupp with an issue, slow on the backstretch up at the top of turn 2 with 9 laps completed on the 20 lap Strong Elevator A-Class Wing Feature. Parker Bupp trying to keep that car rolling at the top of the racetrack, and he might try to pull back to the pit area. Looks like he's going to be able to get his car at least somewhat refired as he's going to pull that car down to the infield. That'll end his race. So 3 non-finishers out of this field so far. It'll be Cruz Stanfield. Chevy Boyer did not make the start. And the 51B of Parker Bupp pulls down to the infield with a mechanical issue from the 4th spot. As the field's coming back around to the one to go signal, Larry Drake's going to lead the field back to green with Harrison Robards, Brody Bridgman behind him. Then you'll find Clayton Apple, Noah Mell rounding out the top 5. A little bit further back, you'll find Danny Vicino, Colin Shane, and Lane Surratt rounding out the strong opener A-Class Wing Feature as Larry Drake leads the field to the middle of the racetrack. As they approach the restart cone, green flags back in the air. Harrison Robards did not get that great of a restart. Allows Brody Bridgman to take a shot at him down to turn 1. Doesn't quite stick, though, for that number 14B machine of Brody Bridgman. Bridgman throws a big slider down there in turns 3 and 4, able to stay alongside by the time they get back to turns 1 and 2. Bridgman really trying to get a run, but Harrison Robards pinches him down to the bottom of the racetrack, and he can't quite take that spot away. Out in front, still that 97D of Larry Drake looking to pick up his 2nd win of the year here in the Strong Opener A-Class Wing Feature. And now Harrison Robards, Brody Bridgman making contact for 2nd. Brody Bridgman up on the berm over in turn 1. And he will not be able to make that move for the 2nd spot for now, as he's going to try to dive it back in there to turns 3 and 4. Doesn't stick. Still, that 11R Harrison Robards with a great position right now in that 2nd spot, but he is fading back from race leader Larry Drake as Brody Bridgman continuing to throw slider after slider. That Harrison Robards just not sticking very well for that number 14B machine. Bridgman still trying to throw him. Just he's fading further back. Now about half a second separates Bridgman and Robards, as Robards now able to start setting down some clean lap times. As Larry Drake, though, still out in front as they come around complete lap number 16, looking to snap the first wins of 2024 here at Coles County Speedway tonight. That number 97D, Larry Drake, looking really good with a 2.4 second of a lead. Now Brody Bridgman back to the rear bumper as Noah Mell really throws it in there on Clayton Apple. Noah Mell goes up over the berm, and the caution comes out for the 2nd time here in the Strong Opener A-Class Wing Feature. Noah Mell tried to throw that slider on Clayton Apple down there in turn 3, and they made some contact. Both cars going around with Noah Mell going over the berm, and Clayton Apple just going for a spin in turns 3 and 4. So both Noah Mell and Clayton Apple are headed to the tail end of the field. So the top 3 on the restart is going to be Larry Drake, Harrison Robards, Brody Bridgman on a green-white checkered, I believe. And then you'll find Colin Shane restarting in 4th with Danny Vicino rounding out the top 5. As field comes around to the one to go signal, will be Lane Surratt in 6th, Clayton Apple 7th, and Noah Mell will round out the field on the Strong Opener A-Class Wing Feature in the 8th starting spot. So once again, the field making their way up to the restart cone over in turns 3 and 4. Larry Drake brings him to the top of the racetrack, gets a good jump on Harrison Robards as they come back to green. Here on the Strong Opener A-Class Wing Feature, Colin Shane gets a little bit sideways. That allows Danny Vicino to get by, and white flags in the air for Larry Drake as he makes his way back through turns 1 and 2. Harrison Robards going to have to make a Larry Drake picking up his 2nd win of the year here at Coles County Speedway. Harrison Robards finishes in 2nd. Noah 5th. Clayton Apple able to rebound to a 6th place finish. Lane Surratt will finish in 7th. Noah Mell 8th. And Parker Bupp was the first non-finisher in 9th, along with Cruz Stanfield and Chevy Boyer. So for the 2nd time this year, Larry Drake will make his way down to Coles County Speedway victory lane. With 5 of the 6 features in the books. The first time winners of 2024 here at Coles County Speedway has been snapped by Larry Drake.
Good job, Larry.
All right, let's give a big round of applause to Larry Drake, your strong elevator A-class wing feature winner here. All right, we'll talk a little bit while you're waiting on him. Come on, Rick. Hey, Larry, your car looked great tonight, and probably the driver better. It was very smooth out there.
Car was good tonight.
Excellent, excellent. I mean, you've been around here a lot. You've won here a lot. You're always a threat to win. I don't know what else to say. You're kind of a legend around here to some of us.
Well, I like to have fun.
Yeah.
So,
All right.
that's all I can say, bud.
All right.
Racing.
That's racing, yep. All right, everybody. Once again, let's give a big round of applause to Larry Drake, your strong elevator A-class wing feature winner at Coles County Speedway. A man who lets his racing do the talking.
So as our first repeat winner, first running of a Mod Light feature here at Coles County Speedway. Starting on the pole is going to be Robert Gonzalez in the 18Z from Kelowna, Illinois. Starting in second is going to be Brandon Freeberg from Metamora, Illinois in the 171. Starting third is going to be Dylan Nager from Festus, Missouri in the 8. And starting in fourth in the 7 is going to be Matt Filkins from West Frankfort, Illinois. Starting fifth in the 75s is Jay Parks from Marion, Illinois. Starting sixth is going to be Michael Mann from Colchester, Illinois in the 24. Starting seventh is going to be Blake Gonzalez from Kelowna, Illinois in the 163G. Alongside him in the 8th starting spot is going to be Christopher Hayes from Farmington, Missouri in the 32C. Starting ninth is going to be Sam Coleman from Farmington, Missouri in the 16Z. And starting 10th will be Josh Hutchinson from Freeman Spur, Illinois in the 99. Mike Perching from Colchester, Illinois starts 11th in the 16P alongside Barry Evans in the 9 from Anna, Illinois, who'll start 12th. Starting 13th is Jimmy Arthur from Mitchell, Indiana in the 17 with Rocky Mayer from McCoyne, Illinois in the 27, rounding out the Mod Light field in the 14th starting spot. As the Mod Lights will make their way out onto the racetrack for the first time on a feature here at Coles County Speedway. Be 20 laps for the 14 Mod Lights as they make their way out onto the racetrack and through the timing lines for the first time. As these 14 Mod Lights will double up here. They're going to take a couple laps to get the field organized, as it is the first time we've run these Mod Lights here at Coles County Speedway outside of a couple practice days. And then I believe their first night ever here at Coles County Speedway was unfortunately rained out right after hot laps, so they didn't get much of a chance to really show what they had here at Coles County Speedway. So all the Mod Lights taking a couple laps, making sure all their cars are okay. As it looks like we're waiting on the 27 of Rocky Mayer to get push started. And he'll join the field as the field comes back around off turns 3 and 4 to collect the 1-to-go signal. So the field working through turns 3 and 4. With the caution lights extinguished now, Robert Gonzalez and Brandon Freeberg, the front row, on the first ever Mod Light feature here at Coles County Speedway as they approach turns 3 and 4, where they can find the start cone. A lot of bumping and banging further back in the field, but out in front, still the top two remaining the same. As Robert Gonzalez trying to hold off Brandon Freeberg, as Freeberg leads the first ever lap of a feature here at Coles County Speedway on a Mod Light. Has a lot of trouble down the front stretch as the caution's going to fly. Had 2, 3, 4 cars around here on the front stretch as the 27 of Rocky Mayer comes to a stop down by the track exit down there in turn 4, along with the 17 of Jimmy Arthur. Also going to a stop on the front stretch was the 99 of Josh Hutchinson. So everyone's going to try to get refired, it looks like. And it looks like everybody just about will be able to get refired and rejoin back in the field. As all 14 cars made their way out onto the racetrack for the Mod Light feature. And it looks like it'll be a full race restart. Full lap was not completed by the field. And they're going to head back to a double file restart. As once again, Robert Gonzalez, Brandon Freeberg will be the front row. Behind them, you'll find Dylan Nager and Matt Filkins, with Jay Parks rounding out the top 5. As the field's doubling up as they come off of turn number 4 and getting organized. They're going to be looking. Field's going to come back through turns 3 and 4 and collect the 1-to-go signal as they come down the front stretch. So once again, going to be the first restart for a Mod Light feature here at Coles County Speedway, and it is a full race restart. As once again, Robert Gonzalez and Brandon Freeberg, the front row, as they make their way back towards turns 3 and 4 and looking for the start cone. We'll see if Brandon Freeberg can get himself as good as a jump as he did the last time, as green flags back in the air on the Mod Light feature. They're already 3 wide further in the back in the field, and a little bit cleaner of a restart this time as Brandon Freeberg trying to make that outside groove work around Robert Gonzalez. Robert Gonzalez able to take it away as they're 4 wide off turn number 4. One car going up on the berm. Everybody able to keep it going in the right direction. Don't often see 4 wide here at Coles County Speedway, but everybody makes it work. Out in front still, the front 2 battle now. Brandon Freeberg leads lap number 2 over Robert Gonzalez, as Matt Filkins able to clear for 3rd on the 8 of Dylan Nager. Him will be Robert Gonzalez. Gonzalez looking to take that lead right back, and he will at the completion of lap number 4. Brandon Freeberg falls back to 2nd as the rest of the field starting to single file out, as everybody's starting to find their marks at that bottom groove, becoming all of a sudden the preferred groove. That initial restart, though, was definitely the high side, as caution's going to come out. Have a couple cars tangled over there in turn number 2. And this will be the second caution of the Mod Light feature tonight, here at the completion of lap number 4. 9 of Barry Evans and the 32C of Christopher Hayes, the 2 cars stopped over there in turn 2. So track worker's going to get those 2 cars separated. Yeah, it looks like a lot of damage to the left side of the 32C of Christopher Hayes. Looks like he is able to get that car refired. A lot of rear end damage, and he's looking like he's going to be headed back towards the pit area, knowing his race is over. So tough break for both of those drivers as Christopher Hayes makes his way back down to the pit area, becoming the first non-finisher of a Mod Light feature here at Coles County Speedway. All good, though, for Barry Evans in that number 9 as he'll join back in at the tail end of the field on the Mod Light feature with 4 laps down, 15 to go on the first Mod Light feature here at Coles County Speedway ever. Field's going to work their way back down to turns 3 and 4, where they're going to find the 1-to-go signal from our flagman, John Shipman, as they're going to look for the lap number 5 restart. Robert Gonzalez, Brandon Freeberg, the top 2 behind them. Matt Filkins rounds out the top 3, then Dylan Nager and Sam Coleman rounding out the top 5 Further back, you'll find Michael Mann, Blake Gonzalez, Josh Hutchinson, Mike Pershing, and Jay Parks, who will round out the top 10. Robert Gonzalez going to bring the field to the middle of the racetrack, and diving at that restart cone, he does. Green flags back in the air on the Mod Light feature. Freeberg trying to make that move work on the outside already. That 16C, of Sam Coleman trying to make some moves stick as well from 9th to 5th right now. Looking for the 4th spot on the 8 of Dylan Nager. Top 5 able to hold position for now as everybody's just starting to hit their lap times. As now that 171 Brandon Freeberg under pressure from the 7 of Matt Filkins. Filkins really looking down to the inside as he makes his way back down to turns 3 and 4. They're 3 wide off turn number 4. Nager tried to keep his nose in there, wasn't enough that time. Now the field single files it out, managing themselves a little bit better than they have in restarts past as they complete lap number 8. A little bit of trouble down there in turns 3 and 4 between the 75 of Jay Parks and the 16P of Mike Pershing. Both those cars able to keep it headed in the right direction as smoke pouring from the back of the 27 as he goes down to turn 1. This might bring out a caution, and it will. That's a lot of smoke pouring out of the front end of that 27 car, and seeing flames out from under the hood of the 27. Rocky Mayer, and this will bring out the red flag. And Rocky Mayer is getting out of that car quickly. Track workers down there immediately trying to get that fire extinguished. Rocky Mayer, who was running 12th at the time, will become the 3rd non-finisher. So Rocky Mayer's car going to have to go up on the hook. And still become the 3rd non-finisher of the Mod Light feature. And he'll be awarded a 12th place finishing position ahead of Christopher Hayes and Jimmy Arthur. So Rocky Mayer's car headed back towards the pit area as the caution light comes back on. And the field's back rolling for a lap 9 restart. Back into a single file restart as they're looking for the 1 to go signal this time. They're going to get it. Robert Gonzalez, Brandon Freeberg, Matt Filkins, the top 3. Behind them, rounding out the top 5 is going to be Dylan Nager and Sam Coleman. Then it'll be Michael Mann, Blake Gonzalez, Josh Hutchinson, Mike Pershing, Jay Parks rounding out the top 5. And then before, he's going to come to the high side of the track, dives down to the bottom. Green flags back in the air on the Mod Light feature. Great jump from Brendan Freeberg. Freeberg is going to try to get alongside here as they come down the backstretch. He didn't quite get a good enough run, though, as that 18G of Robert Gonzalez able to hold him off as they come back off turn number 4. Going to be pinched up towards the outside wall is Freeberg, but Freeberg keeps his nose in there. Freeberg still keeping his nose in there as he gets pinched up to the outside wall once again. Now, Brendan Freeberg has to back out of it. Did not have a good 3 and 4 that time. The right rear fender is out on that 18G of Robert Gonzalez. Gonzalez now has maybe a little bit of an aero advantage with that right rear flared way out. Maybe not. It's rubbing the right rear tire on that 18G. Now, Robert Gonzalez has to hope that right rear rub doesn't become worse. Not seeing any smoke out of the back of that number 18G car as Brendan Freeberg really able to get alongside now. As now lap time's just fading away for that number 18G of Robert Gonzalez. As now Brendan Freeberg easily able to maintain. Lap times almost goes over there in turn 1 is Freeberg. That allows Matt Filkins to get alongside him as they come down to turns 3 and 4. A little bit of contact made, no harm, no foul. Everybody keeps it going in the right direction. Come back through to turns 3 and 4. Still, though, that number 18G, Robert Gonzalez, out in front as they complete lap number 15. Tire rub must not be too bad for that number 18G. He's able to maintain lap times over Brendan Freeberg. Freeberg able to start closing back in, reeling them in as he's really turning like good lap times now. Back within half a second is that 171. They're coming around, complete lap number 17. Brendan Freeberg really looking to gain a lot of time here within 4/10 now, about a tenth of a second faster than Robert Gonzalez. As there might be trouble in front of them as white flags in the air for race leader Robert Gonzalez. Time's running out for Brendan Freeberg. He's there within 3/10 of a second. We'll see if he tries to throw a big move down here to turns 3 and 4. Not quite close enough as the 171. Robert Gonzalez takes the first Mod Light feature win at Coles County Speedway. Brendan Freeberg came up just short with a second place finishing musician. Matt Filkins in the 7 will finish in 3rd. Dylan Nager 4th. Sam Coleman 5th. Blake Gonzalez 6th. Josh Hutchinson 7th. Michael McMahon 8th. Mike Pershing with a 9th place finish. Jay Parks will round out the top 10 with Barry Evans finishing in 11th. The first non-finisher, Rocky Mayer. Then it'll be Christopher Hayes and Jimmy Arthur. So 5 first wins of the year here at Coles County Speedway on the 6 features tonight. As it will be Robert Gonzalez making his way into Coles County victory lane as the first Mod Light feature winner at the historic racetrack. First Mod Light feature ever here at Coles County Speedway.
All right, he's up and out of his car. Let's give a big round of applause to Robert Gonzalez from Kelowna, Illinois, your Mod Lights feature winner here at Coles County Speedway. All right, first, Robert, congratulations. You had your hands full that race. You had Brandon Freeberg all over your back bumper much of the race, and Matt Filkins in the 7 car was there a lot too. How were you able to keep him back behind you?
I heard him get to the outside, and I was like, well, I better get on it a little bit. So I just wanted to keep hitting my marks down on the bottom.
Yeah, you did. I mean, you looked pretty good. We're not used to having these cars here, but you guys put on a really good show.
Yeah, so we've ran like Doe Run. It's a little bit bigger than this place, but we love these small tracks. They're fun to get on and just a ball to have.
What can you tell us about the cars? Because we don't know a whole lot about them.
So they're basically like a UMP modified, IMCA modified. They're 3-link system, pull bar. They work really good, and we run a Gixxer 1000 motor, and that's about it.
All right, you got a little damage to fix back later, but that's quite all right. That's just a little victory mark there, right?
Yep.
All right. You think, buddy, you want to sponsor? Or thank you?
My wife and my daughter, Ren, and Mason back home. This one was for you guys. My brother-in-law, John, he helps me with my race car and sets it up, and got another one, so.
All right. Well, congratulations once again. Once again, folks, let's give a big round of applause to Robert Gonzalez, your Mod Light feature winner here at Coles County Speedway.
And with that, that will conclude tonight's racing here at Coles County Speedway. We hope you enjoyed it, and we hope everyone here at the racetrack can drive home safe. And if you can't make it back to the track next week, you'll make sure you want to tune in over at WFO TV. You can download it on your favorite Roku device, and we'll have weekly racing on WFO TV every single week for the rest of the year here at Coles County Speedway. Thanks for coming out to the racetrack once again, and until next time from Coles County Speedway.